PDRContractors.com, developed to connect, promote, and advance the paintless dent repair industry. Start your membership today.
Feel the difference with CBD direct oils.
CBD oils may have the health benefits for your aches and pains.
Welcome to another episode of PDR Tool Time. I'm your host, Daniel Grom, and in this episode, we prepare for the worst and hope for the best. We also get into Mobiletech RX's new credit card offering, and we're going to highlight some of the tool companies this week for supporting our tools. And our other host is Vince D'Alessandro and Hudson Tanzi. John's on a little vacate this week, and our special guest, Paul Corden. How you guys doing?
Whoop, whoop.
Hey, yo.
What's up? What's happening?
So, Paul, you're in an undisclosed location hidden from America somewhere?
Correct. Yes, sir. I'm on the Hill Trail trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Provide for my 5 children and my lovely wife.
Now, we were talking a little bit earlier, and we were all saying you don't need to do that because you are the Von Tropps and have a singing career, and you should give up this Dent business and go, get on the Tonight Show or something.
You know, everybody who has never tried to make money in the music business says that.
Right?
It's a lot harder to do.
But no, you got YouTube. You do it all on YouTube,
Yeah.
What was that famous kid that got famous by doing that? What's his name?
Justin
Bieber.
Bieber.
A lot of
Justin Bieber?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He was from Canada, though.
Yeah, he was even from Canada.
Well, yeah, the Corden family, they're quite talented, and I'm very impressed with that family. And you know what, Paul, we're very impressed with you, too.
You're making me blush.
I know.
They're all good looking, too.
Yeah.
That helps.
You know what? You're a fan of our show. We're a fan of you. You've been on here many times, and we're just graced with your presence every time you come here.
Stop. Come on. This is ridiculous. I'm just a dent guy.
Just a dent guy. We're all just dent guys at the end of the day.
So what's going on, guys? How was your week? I'm
picking up. I am. Yeah. I'm not.
Pick it up like ska. Like pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Yep.
Sorry, yeah. Ska kid coming at me.
No, I'm really busy. I'm maybe down 20% last week because I think people are getting really antsy and they want to get out and they want to get things done. So it's funny because, all of you are looking at pictures of Newport Beach, which is right down the street from my shop, and they're not pictures of Newport Beach. I'll tell you that right now because they're not like 10 billion people on the beach right now. They're social distancing. There's people on the beach, but it's not what you think, our crooked
I think you should do some live reporting from there.
I might have to go down. I might have to put on my thong and go down to Newport Beach and hang out and get the real.
Oh, that would be glorious
with this guy.
So we have a little connection, a little interaction throughout the week. We have a little app we use, and what Vince will do sometimes is he'll get off at like noon and send us photos of himself basking in the sun on the beach.
Really?
Yes, you've done that multiple times.
Oh, geez,
like,
I'm sorry.
Look where I am.
Must be nice.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Well, I live in California for the next maybe 2 months, and then I'm going to be in Texas, living in humidity and heat.
Has anyone bought your shop yet?
No, but my business partner that does the paint department, he is thinking about it heavily. The only problem is you cannot get a loan right now from the SBA because they're too busy doing the PPP stuff.
How dare they?
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking about getting is I work for a Mercedes-Benz dealership, and they've got 0% interest right now. And so I'm thinking about maybe upgrading my work van.
You're getting a Benzo.
Yeah, like I've got a little Nissan. I love it. But the Metris, if you haven't driven a Metris yet, you will be incredible.
Actually, I saw one of those things, and I like the body lines on it. It kind of slopes backwards. It kind of looks kind of racy.
Yeah, I like it. And it has a truck frame, and the Nissan has like a car frame, and I need that extra 2 to 3 feet would be the sweet spot.
Well, I'll tell you,
Hudson, for it.
If they don't make it in diesel, do they?
I cannot honestly answer that question.
Okay,
if they probably do.
If they do.
Probably diesel 4, I bet.
Yeah, that'd be awesome because we have a Sprinter van, and that's the freaking best thing ever. It's a 2000 or 2004. The thing still runs like a champ.
Yeah, and since I work for a Mercedes dealership, they'll just service it for free for me. Hey, go.
Bam. There you go.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I might be looking at a Dodge though, a Dodge truck.
No,
because
don't do it.
Because I asked for a little reprieve from my leasing or my financing company, and so I got 3 months off my truck. And then if I wait for that 3 months and then go buy a Dodge, they don't have payments for 90 days, and then they have 0% financing, so I won't have payments forever.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty clever. However, the new Dodges, I don't know. They're owned by an Italian company. What is it? FCA or whatever? FCI?
It's a Fiat.
That big screen. I want that big screen.
Yeah, I don't know.
You seen the big screen?
It's like
I could see the draw. I totally get why you want that. They're nice.
Well, you get into anything else, and the small screen makes it look dated. You know. So.
Here's the thing: is like any car I'm getting into, like the first thing I do is switch out the head unit. Like I don't want your garbage OEM radio. I want my own.
That doesn't work anymore, though.
What do you mean it doesn't work anymore?
You can't like put an Alpine system in a freaking car.
Yes, you can. That's what I did. My NV200, my little Nissan. First thing I did was take it to the radio place and
just cost you $1 million. That's all.
No, I paid. I think like $600 with a Viper security. No, 800, and that came with a Viper security system with like tracking and everything, and a touchscreen Apple CarPlay, everything. So that's the first thing I do when I get a car. I'm like, get this garbage out of here. If I don't have Apple CarPlay, I don't want to mess around.
I thought it's all integrated now.
Paul, you're messing up on us.
A lot of manufacturers have Apple CarPlay.
Paul, you sound like a robot.
Right? Mike?
No, not your mic. It's
Paul.
your internet.
Your interwebs.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm on hotel internet, so who knows what we're going to get. They all have Apple CarPlay now, don't they? It's all integrated.
Not on a commercial vehicle.
Commercial vehicles is going to have a shitty radio anyway.
Yeah. So,
all right. So let's get into what companies are we highlighting, Hudson?
Yeah. So for all of you that don't, who maybe aren't aware of what's going on, every week we are highlighting some tool companies. Why? Because we want to support our tool companies during this time. This is going to be the last week that we do this. This is the third week. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, the day this is released, you still have 3 companies that you can support. That's Kiko, Carbon Tech, and Stucky. But for the rest of the week, from this Tuesday that you're listening to the Tuesday following, we have a whole bunch. We've only been doing 3, but this is the last week, so we decided to go big. All right, so we have Ultra Dent Tools, Pro PDR Solutions, Dentman Tools, Willey Quick, B&D, Edgy Tools, Precision is who makes the lift right, Revolution PDR Tools, which is who makes the declaration thing, and then we have Magnatek Mat. So that is what we have.
Who makes the Magnatek Mat?
Some idiot in California.
No, Magnatek makes the Magnatek Mat.
Right. Oh yes, Magnatek Mat makes the Magnatek Mat. All right, so one more time for you guys. We're going to be posting this all over, and once again, the same rules apply. You buy from any of these companies, post the receipt onto the PDR Tooltime Facebook page. You will be entered into a drawing to win some free tools.
Fabulous prizes.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. You can buy a $5 thing or $5,000.
Win a trip to Acapulco, Mexico, and a wardrobe by Botany 500, and a Samsonite luggage ensemble.
Thank you, Vanna White.
Wow, you're on fire tonight, Daniel.
Yeah,
I drank a Red Bull.
Daniel drank a Red Bull, and Vince drank like 20 White Claws. So we've got a role reversal going on the show today.
right?
Yes.
So,
However,
once again, here we go.
Hold on.
Get out your pen and your notepad. Here are the tool companies that we are highlighting this. And what that means is you get free shipping on the lower 48 with the code PDR Tooltime, all one word, PDR Tooltime. Ultra Dent Tools, Pro PDR Solutions, Dentman Tools, Willey Quick, B&D, Edgy Tools, Precision, and Revolution, and Magnatek Matte. We are still in talks with a couple other companies. We have not been able to get a hold of them. Vince keeps pointing at me like he wants to say something, but I'm going to ignore it. And so
they don't want to answer your call. That's all.
Yeah.
So maybe, hopefully by Tuesday, we have a couple more because this is the last week we're doing it. And we want to go and support as many tool companies as we can. Vince, you seem to be pointing at me. What's up, man? How's it going?
The only one that's a little bit screwed up with the whole free shipping thing is Edgy Tools. They cannot offer free shipping, but if you put in the PDRTT 15, you're going to get 15% off of everything on their website.
Okay, so for Edgy Tools, it's PDRTT.
Yes, PDRTT 15, 15.
PDRTT 15. Quince for our Hispanic listeners.
And all right.
Yeah, there we go.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, so let's move on. We got Paul, Mr. Paul Corden, a fan of our show, a regular attendee of our show. We rely on, Paul bringing us the knowledge of getting our prices up and all this other stuff. And now we're going to let Daniel introduce Paul and why you brought him on this time.
Wait, no, I have a conspiracy theory.
Uh-oh.
Okay. What is it?
Paul, every time I log into MobileTech RX to do an estimate on my retail price of Dent on MobileTech, it immediately
defaults
makes me use tactical Dent. And I have to manually switch to Paul Corden. It's a conspiracy. I think you should call MobileTech and tell them, yo, bro, what's the deal?
Mine's the exact opposite.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because I had that issue when they did an update, and I called because I always use the Paul Corden price guide, as you can imagine, right?
Wait, you use the Paul Corden?
Believe it or not. And I called and I was like, I want that to be my default. And they were like, oh, that was a mistake. And they, I think they had corrected it, but apparently it's not corrected on all, or it's not changed around on all platforms. So what do you use? Are you Android or no? You're iPhone, right?
I'm iPhone. I'm an Apple gay boy. I have all. It looks like Apple threw up in my house.
Too. Yeah, it's the same
Apple.
here.
Yeah, so
they work awesome together though. So
yeah, absolutely. So maybe there's something in the settings I got to figure out, but I kind of get annoyed because every time. I mean, there's not much difference between the tactical and Paul Corden, but yeah, I prefer the Paul Corden.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not just saying that because you're here. All right, don't get a big head. All right.
I believe you, but I also kind of don't.
How dare you?
All right.
Dare you?
So me and Paul were talking, and I'm a little more than worried about our future. I think we're obviously in a recession, and that changes our business. But the longer it takes us to open the country back up, the more likely we will run into a depression. And if that's the case, we want to prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and I hope to God that I'm wrong. In fact, all you guys can say, nah. If I am, please do. But I'm going to prepare for that. And so me and Paul were talking about, what do we do for your business? And obviously he's in the hail game. So his tactics are going to be a little bit different than mine.
Well, he has a shop too.
Sure. Yeah. But he can give kind of a perspective on the hail game, which is good.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the reason we got into this conversation was we were talking you and I talk relatively frequently, and you were saying you were thinking it was going to get worse, and I was saying, I think we're going to bounce back. So we had kind of differing opinions on what the future looked like, but the truth is we don't know. Nobody knows. So what do we do with the unknown is what Dan and I were talking about, and how do we kind of prepare? And we both agreed. I think that where we really both agree is we're like, man, the smartest thing to do for any business owner or individual, even with your individual finances, is, hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst case scenario. And that's when Daniel and I started talking about, well, what could the worst look like? I mean, could this carry over into Q1 of 2021? Do like some economists are thinking, we see a really strong bounce back in Q3 or Q4 of 2020, so what do we do to prepare for the worst? Well, I think, if it does last till 2021, we plan accordingly. And, what does that look like for you, Daniel, on the retail shop, or Vince, or even you, Hudson, with your route?
One of the points that you made, you're expecting a bounce back. And I would say that would happen if they would really open things up. But it looks like they're going to trickle it open. And so we won't get that initial bounce back, I think. And that draws things out even further. It draws out more fear. People are so afraid. And it's, frankly, I think a lot of us believe it's a little bit overblown, listening to the latest information and all that. But we're not going to get into that. So my first thing on my list
Hold on, Daniel.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing. Just give me 2 seconds. Because
Yeah.
I've been day drinking all day. So I'm a little bit looser than
Hey,
usual.
yo.
So, granted, all that stuff that you said and, the statistics and this and that, people are getting fed up of sitting at home, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I notice.
Yeah.
We're getting conflicting notices of what's going on out there, the people dying versus people that are dying from natural causes but have COVID in their system and blah, blah, blah. There's so much myth and mysticism going on at this point. So much contradictory stuff. At the end of the day, we're still shut down. And there are people not at work, and there are people not getting their regular income. Now, there's certain states that have unemployment. They're making their money. And some states, they're making more money being on unemployment than actually going to work every day. Like California is one of them. Yeah. Colorado's another one. So these people, once they get back to work, or maybe they don't get back to work right away and they get hit with hail damage or a dent on their car. What's their priority? Do you honestly think that their priority is going to be to get that hail damage done? Or are they going to take that $5,000 check, which really should be $12,000, and stick it in their pocket and pay rent or pay a mortgage or pay for food on the table?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, coming from the hail side right now, I think it's actually going to be a little bit of and I don't want to be somebody who's like the sky's falling, right? But if we're talking about planning for the worst, it could be a double whammy on the hail side, because you've got all these potential customers that you would normally have in any given hail year. And you're, that group of potential customers is smaller because some people are going to want to keep the money. Yeah. Right. And then you've got the double whammy of, you've got a lot of local guys who either run a route or shop, or, they don't chase hail. Now their local markets are really hurting and they're down, and they're going, well, what else do I do? I'm a Dent guy, right?
Go chase
so
hail.
Maybe I'll call around and find out if there's a broker that has a spot for me somewhere.
Yeah.
Or try to tag on with a buddy who I know that does have a shop where he's got hail in his town. So now you've got that double whammy of oversaturation of technicians in the hail market. So I think for the hail guys, we all have to be really wise and maybe say yes to more opportunities than we normally would. And then hope that we can, kind of piece together somewhat of a normal year.
Let me throw something at
for the
you,
guys
Paul.
who have great networks. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. I know Hudson has a question too. Our borders are kind of closed to the South Americans right now, right? And the Europeans. They're not really getting over here very easily. So I think, that's an opportunity for a hail guy or a hail prone area or a hail area that has now got hit, because now you're not going to get Brazilians flooding St. Louis or Tennessee, because, I work for Anson. I know some of the people that come into this country. The first stop they make is Anson Tools and then branch off to the rest of the country. So I'm not sure if those numbers are equating from out of the country.
Yeah,
you're right. That might actually be an equalizer. you know,
Yeah.
where you might have this influx of local techs because we need work to do and our local markets aren't working. So now we're a hail guy, but we have the lack of the, foreign techs. And so maybe that kind of equalizes everything out. We still have somewhat of a normal year, you know?
Yeah.
We don't know. That's the whole point of this is that it's a huge unknown, you know, how is that going to work for everybody? So in light of that, what's the best, practice for the next step?
Hudson.
So here's a ignorant question I have. I remember being at I had a little pocket storm happen to one of my accounts, and I had a Geico adjuster who was there on site at this body shop. He went and his car got hit, and his verbiage was, I can do whatever I want with this check. It's my money now. Right. Once the insurance cuts a check to you, it is yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You can fix your car or not.
All right.
So here's the deal. I wonder, because there's a lot of people that do not own their car outright. So when they don't own the car, the check is made out to the lien holder. So the bank that is fronting the money. So who you're financing with, and to the person who is paying that lien. Correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm assuming the way we typical Americans are, there's probably a lot of cars like that on the road. And I've heard of certain companies where they'll go and this is my question to the legality of this, of you sign over a check for, I don't know, $1,000, and then they sign the back of the check. Like they sign the signature, the shop will sign the check saying we did whatever. And then that gives you, they pay you $1,000, and then they can collect the $4,000 or $5,000 estimate. What's the legality of that? I've heard.
Man, I think I got confused. So you're saying the customer receives a check for $1,000?
No.
For $4,000.
No, so the customer brings their car to you, okay, and you estimate it. An estimate's like a $5,000.
Yep.
$5,000 estimate, right? The insurance writes a check for $5,000. Right now, they could really use that $5,000. Well, you basically say like, hey, I will sign my name on the back of this check because it requires the signature of the person who did the repair, but you have to pay me $1,000 for that signature. Is that an option?
Well, that would mean that the check was made to the owner and the shop. So that would, if it were a co-payable check to the owner and the lien holder, that could never happen. You see what I mean? Okay. If the check is being made co-payable to the shop and the owner of the vehicle, typically that means that either there isn't a lien or some other, situation.
Yeah. And I'm only asking.
Now don't quote me on that because I'm not an insurance expert, but so what would happen? I know that I don't know, quite honestly, I don't know if in the automotive repair, there are re-inspectors who will come in and check to make sure that the work has been done when there's a lien holder involved, right? There may be, I've never experienced one personally in my shop, but I know that's happened before when I had a roof replaced on my house. They will, the mortgage holder will actually send a home inspector to your home to check on the roof to make sure that the work was actually done and you didn't pocket the money.
Yeah. Okay. And the only reason why I'm asking this is because during these times when you have a bunch of people who do not want to, they would rather collect their check. If it is a legal option, that might be another option to present to a customer hey, we can get a higher estimate because the initial estimate by the insurance is garbage. We can do a legit estimate, which is like, they said it's 2,000. We're going to say it's 6,000. They write you a check for 6,000. You pay us $1,000. You made an additional $3,000. If that was a legal option, I don't know because I'm not in that sector or realm.
Yeah, I can't speak to the legality of it, but I wouldn't doubt that that's happening or that has happened before. But yeah, I think realistically, how it works is, and this goes back to, and I could get on a soapbox about this, so make sure you guys cut me off. It goes back to the purpose of the insurance companies to begin with, right?
To make you whole.
And that is to indemnify the customer, which is to make you financially whole after your loss, right?
Yep.
As a matter of fact, it used to be, and some of you may remember this, there was never anything called a claim or an estimate to be managed. As a matter of fact, customers would actually go and pay you, the shop owner, to fix their car and then file for a reimbursement from your insurance company.
Yeah.
Which means the insurance company was never involved in the claim process at all or the estimating.
Sure.
Which blows my mind. It makes me wonder, well, why on earth do we have adjusters in our shops writing estimates?
How did we ever get away from that?
Never repaired a car.
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing here? This seems so backwards to me, right?
Yeah.
But that customer, assuming there's not a lien holder, is absolutely 100% owed that amount of money to make them whole based on their loss. It is their money. As a matter of fact, it is not illegal for you as a shop to write them back a check for the difference of the amount if the insurance company overpaid the cost of the repair. It's actually not illegal to do that. And I know shops that do that.
Yeah.
Reputable ones.
Sure.
All right, let's get back on track. So what would you guys, what's the first thing you guys did when this all went down? What's the first thing? Me was get lean, start calling companies, asking for help. I mean, that's the first thing. And I think most people have already done that. If you haven't done that, that's, I think, step one. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cut the fat. Cut the fat immediately.
And then me and Paul were talking about, okay, how about target marketing the unaffected? You know, your nurses, your doctors, your grocery workers, your essentials, city workers,
stockbrokers.
Well, if they haven't killed themselves. But you know, trying to get more target marketing to those people.
Yeah.
I just saw a sign at the local oil stop, 40% off of grocery workers at a big banner in front of the thing. And I went, oh, that's interesting. So there's an example of some target marketing right.
I think the bigger overarching picture that you're speaking to is creativity and
sure.
our next steps. You know what I mean? Like finding, I think Americans are good at this, but Dent guys are pretty, you know, most business people are good at this. We're finding the channels where there's still opportunity, you know, because I feel like as a local business owner, and even in a hail game too, we're starting to deal with these weird obstacles that we've never really faced before. You know what I mean? Like, well, the hail, in my years of doing it, the hail scene maybe hasn't dealt with these obstacles quite the way they are right now, or the combination of them. Same thing for local shops. You know, retail dropped off sharply for retail shops. We saw the dealers kind of slowly roll off a little bit more, but now they're in a deep funk. Some are doing better than others. And then the body shop work, I know one of the big caliber collisions that we service at home told me that they were down 70% in their workload. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And
that their claims counts, according to their DRP agreements, were down 75%. Claims counts were down 75%. That is a huge, huge blow.
Oh, big
time.
That's a big. That's
difference.
Millions. That's millions right there.
I mean, if you talk about the company wide, you're talking about millions and millions and millions per week.
Oh, sure.
Well, sometimes per day.
You know, it's funny about that. I started thinking about that because, you know, farmers advertise right now giving you 25% off automatically. Ooh. And I'm like, well, wait a second. How much money are they making by not having claims right now?
Oh, yeah. It's in the billions a day for California alone. They were doing the math out here.
So they could actually give us probably a 75% discount and still be okay.
I don't know if you guys have seen, but some of the insurance companies are actually planning on refunding some of the premium money that we've been paying over the last couple of weeks where nobody's driving on the road.
No,
the coverage is pointless. We're wasting our money.
No.
So it's interesting. It's a good point.
No, and it's nuts because, you know, I live in Long Beach, which is probably, I think, the second largest port in all of the United States. LA, Long Beach is one port together. And right now there's 28 oil rigs out. Not rigs.
Not oil rigs, oil tankers.
Oil tankers out in my bay right now. And they friggin' kept me up all night last night because there was thick fog and they were honking their horns all night long. And I'm like 10 blocks away from the beach. All night long I heard, bah, bah, you know, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Yeah, sorry, Paul. 10 blocks from the beach. But
wow, I live by the beach. I got woken up by ships.
yes, but it's odd. And the odd thing is that there's all these oil refiner or oil tankers out there because they have no place to store the oil, right? And it's a trickle down effect. It doesn't matter, whether it's insurance, they don't have the claims. I'm sorry, that was something. ESPN kicked in there. So they on the roads, I'm Southern California. I'm known for traffic. There is no traffic on my roads right now, right?
Yeah.
But the accidents that are happening are not minor accidents. There's people going 100 miles an hour, and they're catastrophes. They're total losses. So that's what I find out here is like the people aren't coming for door dings right now. As a retail location, they're not coming for door dings. Everyone that's coming to me right now is all estimates that I have given in the last month or 2 months. They're now coming back and getting this done because they're bored.
They have time in their hands.
They're like, shit, this is going to end. I better get this shit done before I have to go back to work.
I'm having the opposite. I have, so I've diversified my client base, right? So in the 2008 recession, I only had one customer that I serviced, one type of customer I serviced. And that really hurt me. Mm-hmm. So after 2008, I service a little bit of every single type of customer. Yeah. That's how I've structured my business. Right. So what has happened is my dealerships that I service have shrunk and the amount of cars they give me, my retail has just quadrupled.
Yeah.
And I think since everyone's at home working from home and they're like, oh crap, this is the guy I've had more than 2 customers tell me like, I've wanted you to fix my car for over a year, but I work downtown and you don't service downtown. Yeah. You only service up here. And I was like, this is the time I got to get it done.
Yeah.
Now that's just me in my little pocket where I am and my own personal experience.
That's out here too.
So yeah, I mean, I've seen an uptick. Like I'm still meeting my weekly goal. And that's because my dealerships have completely gone down tremendously.
Yeah.
But my retail house calls has just skyrocketed.
Yes. Yeah. And
that's interesting. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Vince.
No, go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say it's really interesting because I think if you polled 100 guys, you would get a variety of answers. I think some guys are going to say, yeah, things are actually better in this area and maybe worse in this area. The guys are going to have the opposite, effect. One dealer I was working in recently in Ohio was actually doing really well. It was a really strong dealer for sales for what it was. I mean, the whole state's locked down. These guys are selling who would normally sell 40, 50 cars on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Are still moving 15 cars and taking a bunch of trade-ins and things like that. So, that doesn't sound like a lot. Sorry about that, guys. It doesn't sound like a lot, for a dealer that normally sells quite a few more, but they're still moving and shaking, which is interesting. I will say this, for our business, we definitely saw a sharp decrease in retail. Our wholesale work dropped off a little bit and the body shop certainly dropped off. But in the process of that, for us, the silver lining on the cloud was that we picked up an entire BMW used car dealer. We were already doing the service lane. We were already doing some of the other dealers in their particular ownership group, but picked up an entire BMW used car lot.
How'd you do that?
Because
did they call you?
So we had already been. What's that?
Did they call you?
Yes. We had already been servicing the service lane.
Right.
We were killing it for them there because the previous solution was not working out. Mm-hmm. And then what happened was COVID hit, and they had 2 guys, one main guy and then a backup, who just disappeared. They weren't available. Yeah. They weren't traveling to come to the dealer. They weren't showing up on the days they needed to. And these dealers are trying to sell anything they can to keep things alive. Yeah. And they still have needs. We, in the state of Virginia, legally were allowed to be open as essential business according to the executive order. And so we did. We stayed open. We adjusted our practices and our process, and we explained that to our customer base. But we were there for the call when they said, man, we need some used cars done. Will you come and do them? We knocked them out. And next thing you know, last Wednesday or Thursday, I had a meeting with the used car manager, and we agreed on prices. We agreed on days. We agreed on timing. We agreed on how we handle anything outside of the normal wholesale coverage. And and I think it's going to be a beautiful relationship. So there are definitely still opportunities out there, guys. Don't be hopeless. You might have to work a little bit harder and think a little bit differently to find those areas of opportunity.
Sure. Well, that's a great segue into the next thing on my list is expand your revenue streams. So what are some of the things that you're willing to do now that maybe you weren't willing to do? Start fixing appliances or whatever, things like that. Obviously, you could add MPDR, motorcycle paintless dent removal to your shop if you have a shop.
And Daniel, that's something you added to. That's what you started that in 2008, correct?
Yeah, and that's why I started it. And honestly, if I didn't have that right now, I'd be in a lot of hurt because the motorcycle tanks kept on coming in. This is a perfect model for this kind of a situation. And if you had that going, if you had your marketing going, you would have been in a sweet spot.
Yeah.
But maybe you go on the Hail Trail. Maybe you weren't ever considering going on the Hail Trail, like Paul was talking about earlier, or what other ideas, like appliances,
I can tell you what I did.
What's that?
Yeah.
So I am a diva. By diva, I mean, once I had kids, I decided I didn't want to service all of Houston anymore. For those of you that are not aware of Houston is an hour away from Houston. So I'd be done with the job at like 5 o'clock and I wouldn't get home till like 7:30 just because of traffic and sheer distance alone. So I started servicing a 20-mile radius around where I am. All right. But right now, I will go a little bit outside of that because if people are calling and it's about, I don't know, if it's 25 or 30 miles away, I'll make the drive right now. So I will say that I have adjusted in that sense, that I have expanded my geographical service area so that I can allow for more customers during this time. Because even though it has shot up, I can still take more customers because of how little I'm taking on the dealership side. Yeah.
Now, for me, we're approaching the end of the month here. It's the end of April. We've been in a lockdown for 5 weeks now. This is our 5th week. We're ending our 5th week in California right now. And I was in a panic for the first 3. But realistically, at the end of the month, my numbers are going to be down maybe at the most 20%. So all this worry and panic that I've had for the last 5 weeks is a little bit, it's not rational. It's the fear that the media and everything else has put into me about it. How am I going to make ends meet? How am I going to make my rent? I made my rent. I got rent for May, June. I'm good. So really for me, I made my adjustments back in 2008. I learned that by adding a service, I added paint repair to my service repertoire. It's actually more profitable than PDR for me. So I make 40% off of my paint department of Dents No More. And that has carried me through the struggle of the hard time of COVID. So I really haven't been affected all that much. And to be honest with you, I've actually kind of thrived. I'm ahead of the curve of most. So I hope you guys out there, you figure out something now, because this will come around in another 5 years or 10 years or whatever. And you're going to have to face something like this again, some type of crisis. Learn from this. Make a move now while you can. Paul?
Yeah, Vince, I totally agree with you. I think now is the time for guys to learn. I think it's time for guys to pay attention to what's going on and think about how they can make adjustments, not only to capture every opportunity they can right now in the moment, but honestly thinking about the next time a crisis hits. We all know you can't be on the mountaintop forever. If you're on the mountaintop forever, then you can't appreciate the mountaintop,
Right. Yeah.
But it was so good being on top.
It is good being on top.
Man,
but that's
nice.
the time, man, when the sun is shining, we make hay. And then we store some of that hay away. We think about how we're going to process the next crisis and do it better next time. But there's still, I have a lot of hope. So Daniel is definitely was saying, you weren't sure how things were going to turn out. You think it's going to take longer. You think it's going to be harder on the economy. I have high hopes that as soon as these stay-at-home orders are lifted, I think the economy bounces back sharply. And I think we'd be prepared for it. And I think we'd be ready to do our best to, again, make hay while the sun's shining. But then guys, put some money in savings, maybe make some investments, maybe put off that lift kit for another, year. There's probably some things you can do to not spend and be prepared for the next crisis.
Learn how to do windshield repair, right? Windshield repair or wheel repair or something that's so mundane and not so critical, not critical, but like we know as, paintless dent removal technicians, we're awesome. You know what I mean? We're craftsmen. We're craftsmen. A guy that does a wheel repair, and I'm not discounting the wheel repair guys.
We're awesome. Sorry.
We're awesome. Wheel repair guys or windshield guys, it's not as craft worthy as what we do in the PDR industry. And maybe that's the alcohol talking. Maybe
that's definitely the alcohol talking because I've seen some good stuff from those guys.
From a windshield repair guy? Maybe. So anyways, add something to your service.
I'm gonna say something else different. Here's the deal: is maybe that's something that you're not capable of. Maybe you don't even have the funds to start wheel repair, windshield repair, because to get a windshield repair kit. What?
Sub it out.
But here's what I would say: is what are you doing to create systems and processes to make yourself more efficient, so that whenever the economy starts taking back up again, you're running at all cylinders. You have everything available online so that you're ready to go. So right now there's nothing, right? What are you doing rather than playing Call of Duty or drinking with your friends or whatever? What are you doing during the day to make yourself more efficient? So whenever this thing starts ramping back up again, you're ready to go. All right. Like, is your cart ready? Is your website optimized? Is all of this ready to go? If you're not, I don't know how to do that. Well, now's the time more than ever to you do some Google McGaten and figure that out for yourself. If you don't have the ability or the know-how or the funds to start a separate part of your business so that you can bring in more funds, then what are you doing with what you have now to be ready for when it ramps up? What's up, Daniel?
Well, that's a perfect segue into my next thing on my list is getting good advice, i.e., listening to books. I started listening to Robert Kiyosaki's podcast, Real Estate Guru, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, all those guys. Get good stuff in between your ears. Start listening. Also, create your own advisory group. Get a good group of guys. I have these knuckleheads in front of me to, bounce ideas off of and talk to. And,
very true.
And you know what? When you're alone and you're sole proprietor, that you need that. You need that sounding board. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to have your circle to bounce things off of.
Yeah.
And
so if you don't have one, create one, and get good stuff in between your ears.
I mean, Jesus had 12 guys with him at all times. If Jesus needed someone, how much more do you need someone?
And he didn't have Zoom. He did not have Zoom or Voxer or anything else.
Now's the time to be learning. I think I agree with you, Daniel. You guys, if you need books to read, ask around. I can think of two off the top of my head I would highly recommend for Dent guys. Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference. And you guys need to read Delay, Deny, Defend about the insurance company and how we got to this place. If you guys haven't read that, it will greatly affect your business. But now's the time to learn, man. Podcasts. I mean, we bought a subscription to Masterclass video trainings because we were like, listen, if we got downtime or guys have downtime, here's the login. Go over there and learn something.
Now, Paul, hold on, because we don't have John here to type this in for our show notes. What was the name of that again?
The book titles?
Yes.
Okay,
type it in for us.
I'll type it in for you. Yeah,
okay,
no
put it in the show notes
that
way the listening audience could go back and read that.
I listened to Never Split the Difference because of you, Paul.
Well, and here's
awesome.
Here's
Great
my
book.
concern. We have come leaps and bounds. I've been in this PDR industry for 25 years. Daniel's been in for almost 30, right? 27 years. So we've seen all the growth in the last 5 to 10 years that we're taken seriously now by insurance companies, by body shops, and all this stuff. Let's keep this momentum going. Let's not go back. Let's not start giving in to lower prices just because we need to put food on the table. Let's command our self-worth and make sure that we are getting what we need to get paid.
Perfect segue into the last thing is, okay, pricing. What do you do for pricing? And Paul made a great comment about, keeping your pricing the same, but offering discounts. So your pricing always is there in front of them. Giving discounts is okay, but dropping all your prices altogether, don't do that. Right, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel really strongly about this, and I can't emphasize enough that I highly recommend you don't do a price change. Am I echoing?
Yep.
Sorry, guys. My headphones died here, so
You're not that bad though. I'm recording, so you're fine.
Okay. So the basically what I want you to know is do not drop your base prices. Don't do that. Keep your base prices, maintain your pricing. You want everybody who ever sees an invoice from you to always see what the real value and worth of your work is. But you can certainly reflect in your final invoice some sort of a discount. And I highly recommend to people when they do a discount, make sure you associate whatever discount you're giving with a cause. So we don't just give discounts because people ask us for a discount. We might give them a discount because it's you're a first responder, or maybe you are military or law enforcement, or maybe you're a first-time customer discount, and this is maybe you're a repeat customer discount. My point is always connect your discount to a cause, not just because you ask for a discount, I'm going to just give you a discount, because then what that tells people, your customers, that your work is not valued at what you say that it is, right?
Okay, Paul.
I would highly recommend don't change your base prices, but certainly reflect your discounts and tie your discount to a cause.
Paul, ask me for a discount.
Vince, can I get a discount on that dent you just wrote up for me?
Why?
Because I'm cheap.
Dude, I throw people off by just saying why.
That's awesome. I love it. It's
But
so awkward.
It's so awkward, but I only do it in person. You know what I mean?
I love it.
I don't do it on the phone. I don't do it on text message or anything. But if we're face to face, it's why?
So I'm against that, Vince.
Why?
Because I don't want my customer to feel that way. I don't want them to feel I don't want them to ever feel like they're lesser or make them to feel uneasy.
Right.
So what I will say is that
I
they
do have
ask for a
follow-ups,
discount.
but go ahead.
If they ask for a discount, I say, actually, you know what? I do have a $25 online coupon right now that typically people have to buy beforehand, but I'll just apply it to your end result and I'll give you $25 off. And that's what I do.
Well,
And if they want, I do have that online available through Yelp. I did it like 8 years ago or something, and I don't know how to take it off. So I technically do have a $25 off coupon via Yelp that I just have no clue how to take off.
yeah.
And I've said that's what I've done, but I really love what you said, Paul, about attaching it, because I do give my repeat customers a discount.
Yeah.
Because I appreciate them coming back. And, but also I never thought of it like, oh, if I see someone being uneasy about price, like, we all know, right? Be like, hey, you know what? You're a first time customer. I do have this online, like they will never go back and check this, right? I can just say like, hey, I've got an online first time customer discount of like 10%. So I can take $15, $20 off for you. And they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go ahead.
It's also a perfect time to say, well, I do give 25% discount for people that promise to leave me a great review.
Is that legal though?
No. Well, there's no legality to it, but
What do you mean that's illegal?
it's not
How's
illegal.
that illegal?
The Yelp police are not going to come and like, hey, you need to.
I didn't say Yelp. I said great
Or-
review.
Right.
Wherever they may want to put
Me personally, right now, when it's bad, I do not give discounts, but I do throw in free dents. If
Wait a second,
something's
you
going to
give
take me 5 seconds,
a hottie discount.
say what now?
You give a hottie discount, don't you?
No, never.
If she's a hottie?
Dude, don't be creepy old man, Daniel.
No, that's what you told me. You told me you gave this chick a hottie discount. Didn't you?
No, I don't think so. It might be someone else.
No, that was talking like when it's hot weather and it's a nice day.
Or they bring me a hot toddy on a cold day. went,
yeah, that too.
yeah, with whiskey and cloves and hot water. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, but no, I will throw in like a dent that I know that's going to take me 3 pushes to throw in. To them, it's the big deal. To me, it's 2 seconds, and I do throw those in now. And sometimes, even if I'm doing the dick move and saying why, I'll throw in that dent anyways and make them feel like they're a winner at the end of it. So
I think I've said this one before and I learned this from this guy. You give them that, you print out the estimate or whatever, and you give them the estimate and you go, with your discount, it's $560. And there's no discount on there, but it's
so clever and sneaky.
I know this guy did to me. And I was like, oh, I'm stealing that one.
You know what I've been doing?
You do realize, hold on, Daniel was a used car salesman beforehand. Go ahead,
yes.
You know what I have done is, if I am like, I see a person, I'm like, man, this guy's not gonna go for this. I'll be like, look, what you have here is you have 14 inches of damage. I'm gonna count it as 12. We're just gonna go with that. Instead of it being 14, it's 12 inches.
I think it's 14, but my wife says it's 12. So
yeah.
We'll charge you for 12.
I'll go and I'll measure it in front of them. They'll see. I'm like, look, and I'll put the marks. I have my Posca marker, and I put a mark and a mark. And I go, look, clearly this is 14 inches, right? And they're like, yes. And I go, everything we do is based upon inches of damage and factors. I'm going to pretend like these extra 2 inches don't exist in 12, and that's going to save you a little bit. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. And I'll be able to help you out there. And now in the grand scheme, that's $100 freaking. Don't get me wrong. That's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going to be honest that those extra 2 inches are basically the affected metal that's going to come out as I bring the bulk out.
Yeah. It's
not like the meat. You know what I'm saying?
That's what she said.
Right. And really, what is the boss going to come and bust you? Hey, Hudson, you should not be giving those 2 inches away.
My boss is a jerk.
Right?
Hasn't given me a day off during this damn pandemic.
Oh man,
good. You need to be working.
Well, there's one thing that
Who else is going to pay taxes if we don't?
Good Lord, yes.
Right. Well,
I just got my bill in. It's bad, guys. It's really bad.
Let me ask you this though, Daniel, who should we be blaming for all this?
China.
Oh,
China.
Shit. Wait, one more time.
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
I had to turn down.
Bad.
Damn it.
I'm so glad that didn't work perfectly.
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
There you go. I have all these new tabs that I just totally bombed on that one.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, at least, I have the crowd that could actually applaud for me. So listen, boys and girls, we're reaching the end of our podcast.
Thoughts?
What's that?
Any closing thoughts?
Yes.
Wisdom.
Paul.
Don't fret. It may take a little longer to get back to normal, but we will get back to normal. However, we also will see another crisis sometime probably in our lifetime. So start thinking now about how you're going to handle it and do your best to be creative and keep things going.
Right.
Let's go over our highlighted companies one more time before we get out of here.
Go for it.
All right, we got Ultra Dent Tools, Pro PDR Solutions, Dentman Tools, Willey Quick, B&D Tools, Edgy Tools, Precision, Revolution Tools, and Magnatek Mac.
Support those tool companies. Get out there, spend a little money, help them out.
And remember, guys, go to our website too, PDRTooltime.com, for discount codes and other cool stuff that's going on.
And also subscribe. Please subscribe. That helps us out. That helps out our numbers. Even if you live stream it, push that subscribe number.
Yeah.
But lastly, we wanted to just throw this in real quick. Mobiletech RX is going to be doing credit cards now through the app, which is really good news, I think.
Yeah.
It's one more step to being, totally independent, I think. And I got a few numbers here, what you guys might want to hear. So basically there's 3 ways to do a charge on it. And there's 3 different rates for those charges, 2.7, 2.9, 3.5. So to get the lowest rate, you have to have the card reader.
Yes.
And it's about $50-$60.
Yeah, it's about $60. I checked it online. More information is going to be coming out on this, and I'm totally looking forward to this. I've been using Stripe for years with Magnatek, Matt. They're a good company, and they got good rates. So,
yeah, pretty much all your online companies use Stripe, probably.
Yeah, Spotify or not Spotify. I'm sorry, Shopify.
What is it compared to Square? Because I use Square.
It's the same.
Cheaper than Square?
It's all
it's all the same. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But hey, Vince, can we talk about the other stuff? Can we whisper it?
Yeah, whisper.
Okay,
there's things coming down.
Things that are coming down with this.
You're not whispering.
You're going to be you're going to be able to ask for a deposit through that too.
Yes, for a job. Yeah.
And you'll also have a tip jar on there. You can ask for a tip.
Yeah.
Which is great. And for those big jobs, those big hail jobs, you'll be able to offer financing. Don't tell anybody.
Right.
We weren't supposed to talk about that.
So yeah, version or the couple
Version
updates
2,
down
3,
here.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very cool stuff.
You know, Mobile Tech RX is just getting better and better.
Yeah, it does. And you know, Paul Gordon, follow his chart. I do not follow it because I can't get those numbers, and he's going to beat me up after we're done with this.
He's rolling
his eyes right now.
I think he just had a seizure.
But there's other charts out there. I follow the tactical when I can. I do Paul Gordon.
You do?
I do.
I use Paul Gordon because I'm not a little punk.
And do you use it all the time?
Every single estimate.
That's amazing.
Me too.
Well, good. All right, Daniel, what do you got to say, man?
Guys, connect to those tool companies and level up your tools with a discount.
Hudson, you got something?
Yeah, man. Hey, guys, embrace the crazy. Definitely right now.
And keep it stiff. Thanks for listening.
Edgy Tools, it's the little things that make the big difference.
The king of useful doodads.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the industry and tool-related news every week.
Mobile Tech RX, the app that helps you make more money.
Visit AnsonPDR.com for the largest selection for just about all your PDR tools, where you'll find hog glue and hog tabs.
Don't forget to grab your Magnatek mat, available at most PDR tool distributors.